What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5-pack, rocking it solo Sunday, June 13th. Ryan is tied up this morning, and he's going to be coming out with NBA shortly. So you got me solo for MLB. I love these Sunday slates. I know people are busy on Sunday morning, so I'll get through this short and sweet. And, yeah, let's rock it. Screen share this, and we will roll on. So first thing I didn't do, which I will do quickly, is check to see if there are any weather concerns, just to make sure we're not taking any games out of play or anything like that. Nothing. So we got no weather problems, which is always nice on a big Sunday slate like this. So as far as pitching options go, I've been a little bit down on Bieber recently, but I like him a lot today. You know, he wasn't good when he saw this Mariners team about a month ago in Seattle. He hasn't been, the dominant Cy Young Bieber of last year, basically all season. That said, I mean, he's still averaging close to 27 DPK points per game. He's got an under 3 ERA. He's got a ton of Ks. Slowly getting back to the Bieber we know and love. He's my favorite pitcher on the slate, at home against Seattle. I don't think he's like the lock of all locks that, he might have been last year, but he's my guy, and I will just play him and move on. Carlos Rodon, also like Rodon quite a bit. I prefer Bieber if forced to choose. I just think he's a better pitcher. I trust him more. That said, I mean, Rodon having a slightly better year, averaging a 0.4 DK points more per game, doesn't have nearly the Ks and a lower ERA. So I prefer Bieber. I think pairing them both is certainly in play. If you like Rodon more than Bieber, do your thing. I do think that the drop-off after Rodon on this slate is pretty big. So Bieber and Rodon look like the top two guys by a good margin. Aaron Nola, he just hasn't been great this year. Unlike Bieber, who, hasn't been great, but still has a 2.97 ERA, 125 Ks. Nola's got above 4 ERA. He's only got 85 Ks. The numbers just aren't great, averaging 8 DK points less than Bieber. So I'm usually a big Nola fan. I don't think it's the worst spot in the world. The Yankees strike out a lot with right-handed heavy. They have no DH today. It's hard to want to spend 9-6 on him right now, though. Paddock's a definite no for me. I have no reason why. I see no reason why he should be this expensive. That's going to be a hard no for me, dog. Domingo Germán, not excited about it. He hasn't been awful, but he's been far from spectacular the past 3 starts. Now in a tougher spot against Philly. It's not the worst spot in the world, but it's certainly not a great spot. Then you got to take a look at Robbie Ray, who I've barely been on this year. I will take my L there. My big L, Ray has been fantastic basically all year. Man, really tough matchup, and I could see Boston getting to him here because they're Boston and they're pretty good. But Ray's got to be in play. I don't love the pitching options after Rodon and Bieber, and just based on how he's pitching this year, it's got to be in play. I don't feel great about it, but he's in play if nothing else. Pablo Lopez, coming off a really good start against the Rockies. I liked him a lot that day. So did everyone. He was at home against the Rockies. Not a great spot against the Braves. He's not cheap, but he's in play just considering our other options. Hauser's a definite no. Valdez is actually a guy I'm looking at. He's been really impressive. 30-plus in back-to-back starts. Now gets a Twins team that they've got some good pieces, but all in all, I'm not afraid to pick a pitcher against them. If Valdez is on today, I could see him having another really good start. So he's on the short list for sure for me. Cueto, no. Ross, no. Martin Perez came back down to earth big time last time. That's a no. Pineda, no. Waka's a definite no. I just wanted to see what his deal was. Will Crow is a no. Fleming is a no. I don't think you're crazy to like Logan Gilbert, though. Threw a ton of pitches last time out, 105, and I'm not saying that like, I think he threw too many. I like that they really lengthened his leash. This guy's a good young talent. So, again, Cleveland's been okay recently. I'm still not, afraid at all to pick on them with a decent pitcher. It's not like he was great last time out, but a tougher spot in LA against the Angels. Came out of there with 23 DK points. Again, had to or, gave up a bomb, but only gave up 2 hits. Looks like he's starting to come into his own a little bit. I could actually definitely see pairing the pitchers in this game. And if you don't like Gilbert, I get liking some Cleveland bats. I don't think you're crazy to like Zimmerman either. 2 back-to-back really nice starts. He was good in that Mets start. I don't trust him here at all. I mean, how could you trust him? But he's certainly got upside in this spot. Tampa Bay strikes out more than any team in the league. They're even more prone to strikeouts against left-handed pitching, so don't hate it. And then the last guy I think we should talk about is this Santillan. Not exactly sure what to make of him. He's only, 5,500 in a really good spot at home against Colorado. He's been good in the minors. Was never projected to be like a top of the line arm or anything like that. Again, projections are sometimes wrong. So maybe he is that guy. Maybe he's not and just pitching, well so far in the minors this year. I can definitely make the case for Santillan on this slate. I can also make the case for Rockies bats. I'm interested to see where ownership goes. It's still a little bit early, but yeah, I think both sides of this game are in play. And after that, that's pretty much it. So that's my short list. I mean, Santillan, Zimmerman, Gilbert, Valdez, Lopez and Ray, kind of for me, and Rodon and Bieber. So that's where I'm looking right now. And, obviously things can change, but only 2 hours to lock, so I doubt much will change. All right, just in the essence of saving some time so we can fly through this, let's move on to some offense. And Philly and the Yankees, not really looking at either offense in this spot. I don't think you're crazy. Both offenses have good hitters, but I respect both pitchers enough. I think they pitch well, even if I'm not trying to use them in DFS. Washington versus San Fran. I could actually see offense in this game. These teams played a doubleheader yesterday, and both really low-scoring games. I could see them kind of getting off the schneid here. I'm more likely to pick on Joe Ross than Cueto. I'm a Cueto fan, but I like the Washington offense right now more than the Giants. So Cueto was not great last time out. Watched a bunch of that Cubs start. Patrick Wisdom got him. The problem with Washington here is, man, they are expensive. You got Turner and Soto, combined $12K. Ryan Zimmerman, I doubt he's in the lineup, so he's hella expensive. Josh Bell's pretty affordable. So they have some cheaper pieces, but the main guys are expensive. Schwarber's ice cold right now. Yeah, he's just not seeing the ball well. He's walked into a couple home runs, but that's about it. Yeah, I can get on board with Washington and San Francisco, but probably not where I plant my flag. A lot of that has to do with price on Washington, and then as far as San Fran goes, sure, I can get on board with if Crawford's back in the lineup, Yastrzemski, but not something I'm dying to get to. I'll tell you that. Colorado and Cincy. I think both offenses are in play here. Colorado has done me dirty. I don't know why I keep going back there, but again, I think that this is a spot that they could potentially do very well. Seeing as though Santillan has never pitched to the major league level, really good ballpark for the Rockies hitters. Like I mentioned with Santillan himself, I think you can make a strong case for him. I think you can make a strong case for the Rockies bats. A little bit cheaper today. So, the stack's in play for me. The Reds have the worst bullpen in baseball. It's risky, and it's not going to feel great when you plug these guys in. But again, they're a little bit more affordable today. I'm a Tapia fan, under 4K. Daza, 3,300. Blackman. I've mentioned Brendan Rodgers a bunch recently. He continues to see the ball really well, so like him a lot in a stack or as a one-off. Story has not been good. Walked in his last at-bat yesterday, though. I don't really want to one-off him, but if I'm stacking Colorado, you betcha. And as far as Cincy goes, Sensatella is probably a little bit better than the masses want to give him credit for, but, certainly not a guy we're afraid of picking on. Castellanos continues to stay red hot. Winker, one of the best hitters in the league against right-handed pitching. So they got one of the better 2-3 combos in baseball, and they're wildly in play every slate. Today being no exception. Votto has been good. They're a little more expensive today, so that might cut into their ownership. I think that these guys are definitely in play, though. I don't think you have to go here in cash games and get 5 Reds, but certainly in play if nothing else. Atlanta and Miami. I could see using some Miami bets against Drew Smiley. They're pretty affordable. You got Aguilar at 3,900. Adam Duvall homered yesterday. I usually prefer him against righties, but he's seeing the ball really well right now. Well, he should be in the middle of that lineup. Starling Marte, Jazz Chisholm, Smiley's a guy who's going to allow steals. So I don't mind the Marlins at all here. Again, not excited about them, though. I mean, it's the Marlins on a big slate. And yeah, I mean, the Braves. Let's see the Braves. I mean, I don't really want to pick on Pablo Lopez. The Braves are good. They can get to anyone, but I'm not really trying to pick on Pablo Lopez, and I don't see really why we should today. San Diego and the Mets. So Luke Casey against Chris Paddock. This is another game. I could actually make a case for offenses on both sides here. I've picked on Luke Casey with success before. San Diego, they're expensive, so they're going to be very hard to get to. But they haven't been good recently at all. Note that. So they're really good. You can always get me on board with taking a shot on them, but it's not like they're lighting the world on fire right now. So just note that if you're using them. Grisham's back in the lineup. We'll have to see how their lineup shakes out. They're expensive, but certainly worth it if you think they go off here. And as far as the Mets go, I am not like a Chris Paddock believer. I don't think he's that good at all. Big game yesterday for Francisco Lindor. Don't hate that. You got Guillermo leading off at 3,500. Cog in the machine type. Again, not the sexiest player in the world, but leading off at 3,500. Don't hate it at all. Boston and Toronto, two very good offenses. Robbie Ray's been awesome. I really don't want to pick on him. If you want to use like a JD Martinez against the lefty, I get that. I mean, even Kike Hernandez is a fill-in. Hard to want to stack Boston, though, with how good Ray's been. If you think today's the day he has major regression, do your thing. Stack up Boston. They're really good. They're another one of these teams that can get to anyone. As far as the Blue Jays go, Martin Perez has had a good year. So I don't want to discredit that. People like to pick on him a little bit more than they should. Coming off a really rough start, I get why Toronto's getting off here. I mean, this Vlad kid is pretty good. Monster home runs in back-to-back games. I'm not excited about Toronto here, though. I respect Perez enough where I don't need to go to the Red Sox here. Certainly in play. They're better at hitting than Perez is at pitching. I'm talking about both teams. So both teams I feel similarly about, even though Ray has been better than Perez this year. Perez hasn't been a slouch in his own right. So I think that obviously Toronto's in the better spot on paper. They're also going to be much higher owned. So in summary, I think I like these offenses about the same. Alrighty, so about halfway through it. Tampa and Baltimore. Zimmerman impressed me. I'm not sure I'm completely buying what he's selling, but 20-plus in back-to-back starts. I mean, you want to talk to me about like an Arozarena leading off? Sure. I think these are more filler pieces than anything for me. Again, I've been kind of impressed with Zimmerman, though, so I'm not excited about Tampa here. Baltimore could be in play. Wack is not good. Fleming's okay. Baltimore on the road, not the greatest hitters ballpark, but not one I'm afraid to pick hitters in. Cedric Mullins, I mean, he's just having a really good year. Really cheap at 3,400. He makes sense. Even if you're not stacking Baltimore, he makes a lot of sense as a filler piece. All right, guys, sorry about that. All right, we got Seattle at Cleveland. Already talked about this game. So I like the pitchers here. Bieber is a guy that, I'm probably just going to use through and through. And then Gilbert, I mentioned. I mean, I am looking at him here. I'm not afraid of Cleveland's offense at all. I don't think they're that good. I've talked about that all year. They are playing a little bit better now, though, so I'll give them credit. You got guys like Bobby Bradley, who looks like a guy that they've been missing in their offense. I mean, they've needed a power guy like this to man first base. He's already got the same number of homers and RBIs as Jake Bauers does all year. So I think that tells you all you need to know about these two guys. If I'm not using Gilbert, I think Cleveland's in play. That said, with so many offenses in play, I'm more likely to use Gilbert than the Cleveland offense. That's just how I personally feel. the White Sox and Tigers. So White Sox went off yesterday. Today they get Kyle Funkhauser, probably what's going to be like a bullpen game. I don't love bullpen games. I'm picking on them with opposing offenses, but Detroit's bullpen sucks. So worry a little bit that they're going to play matchups a little bit, and I do think they get a lot of love. They deserve to get a lot of love, though. We'll see what their lineup looks like, but against the righty, Brian Goodwin will probably be right back in there. Was pretty good yesterday with 33 DK points. I mean, he is not this guy, but was in a great spot against Urena and another really good spot against Funkhauser. He might be the chalkiest hitter on the slate, assuming he's back in the 2-hole, but in cash games, just plug him in. And in tournaments, fade him at your own risk. And in White Sox stacks, I'd just play him. You want to talk about getting a little different, though, stack the White Sox without Goodwin. I don't think many people will do that here. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. This is interesting. Milwaukee continues to get a ton of love, like every slate, and they're just not good. It's a good spot for them. I don't think this Will Crow is anything special at all. But, man, Yelich expensive. We did call that the big game was coming, and it came. It's coming right now. He looks locked in. He's my favorite piece of Milwaukee. If you want to stack the Brewers, I get it. Not sure I want to land there on this slate, but Yelich looks like one of the better bats on the slate, no doubt about it. As far as Pittsburgh goes, not really ever trying to use Pittsburgh. Not really trying to use them today. I don't mind like a Moran one-off if you need to get to like a Gregory Polanco. I mean, sure. Definitely not excited about it, though. That's for damn sure. And then last but not least, we got Houston and Minnesota. So we got Framber Valdez against Pineda. Valdez has been really good. I'm not looking at Minnesota bats. He's just been really, really good. Again, another one. If you want to use like a cruise at 5K, very affordable, start to see the ball better, home runs in 2 or 3, sure, do your thing. Rob Refsnyder hitting cleanup. I mean, that just makes me like Valdez more. Refsnyder is no good. Again, if you want to use a couple of these cheap guys, do your thing, but I'm much more likely to use Valdez. And then from the Houston side, I'm more likely to use Houston bats than Pineda. I do think Houston's another one of these teams that gets a lot of love. That's okay. Don't mind sprinkling in Yordan, Kyle Tucker, Brantley. I mean, these guys are cheap as hell. So you want to talk about using 2 expensive pitchers, you can stack Houston. I mean, Altuve and Bregman are decently expensive. Correa is okay, but their outfield's really cheap. They got some other, McCormick and or Miles Straw. Sunday's lineups oftentimes are a little bit weird, but Houston looks like, on paper, the top stack of the day in my mind. Or Pineda, I respect. Price considered, though, Houston is right up there as the top stack on the slate. I think you're looking at them, the White Sox, potentially both sides of the Rockies-Reds game, the Padres, and the Blue Jays look like they're getting a lot of love. So I get that. And yeah, fun Sunday slate. 11 gamer, so not like massive, but not small either. And yeah, that was fun. I'm excited to get cracking on the write-up. If you want more write-ups, more videos, more content, more me and Ryan, sign up for the DFS5pack.com today. We're out here crushing it. And yeah, we'd love to have you join us. Have a great Sunday, guys. Thank you as always.